really enjoyed. But that was the last time that he was able to do it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when they did come to do the Ed Sullivan Show, he wrote to me and said, well, would you like to come and hang out with me for the week? So I said yes, and I had a flight up to New York. And I was talking to him the day before, which would have been the 8th of February. What is it now?
The 6th.
The 6th, okay.
Yeah.
And on the 8th, I had heard that from the people at Capitol Records that their first single that they released in this country had in 9 days sold 1 million. And so that was, I want to hold your hand.
We can't afford an applause sign, so we just designate one audience.
Donate a sign for you. Applause sign for you. A piece of black wood with a white paint.
That's all it is.
White wood.
Somebody step up.
About 25 applause signs next week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They're loyal like that.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, I went to the Ed Sullivan Show. He said to me, why don't you come along? So, oh yes, I was talking to him the night before. I called them to let him know that they had made #1 in this country. Of course, they were thrilled about that. And he said, but I don't think it might be a very good idea to try. We were going to meet at the airport originally. He said that. I've just heard that every helicopter in New York has been hired by the press. And so it may be difficult for us to kind of hook up at the airport. Well, if any of you have ever seen any of the pictures of the arrivals of the Beatles at the airport, you will know that that was certainly under, what would you say?
Water? Underestimation.
The way it was, yeah. So anyway, he said, come along to the hotel. So when I got to the hotel, checked in, and they said, I was checked in on the 6th floor, and my brother was on the 14th floor. And he said, well, there's a message for you here to go straight up to the 14th floor and, join with your brother. So I said, okay. So I had them take my suitcase to the 6th floor, to my room, and then I went up to the 14th floor, and in the Plaza Hotel, they still, I don't know if they still do, but there was elevators that you have somebody working them, and they don't always stop where the floor is, they jiggle them up and down 2 or 3 times. And anyway, so I went up to the 14th floor, and looked down the corridor towards the number that I was supposed to go to, the number of the hotel room. And there's a huge crowd of people standing there. I thought, oh dear, So I went scooting by, I was sort of leaning against the side of the wall, trying to get past this big crowd without, interrupting them. So as I was starting to go past some of them, there was a great big Pinkerton guy, as big as that guy that was out here before.
My son, yeah.
And he sort of shows up and he says, where do you think you're going to? So I said, well, I'm just going down there to visit my brother. The whole crowd burst out laughing. And one of them said to me, how many times do you think that's been tried today? So I'm starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I said, well, I had a message from the front desk to come straight up here, and so I came. So they say, well, do you have any identification? So of course, my name wasn't Harrison back then. I was married, my name was Caldwell. So, no, so is your name on the list? So, I don't know, George had told me to come up, but he didn't, he wasn't used to all of this interrogation and everything, so he never thought to give them my name. So anyway, after a while, I remembered that when my brother had been in Illinois in September, there'd been a picture taken of me and him with he was holding my daughter in his arms. That picture has long since disappeared, I'm afraid. But anyway, I had that picture with me, so I pulled it out and I said, look, you know, this is my brother, and this is me, and this is my daughter. So they said, oh yeah, that does look like one. So they went out, knocked the room where they were doing the TV interview, or radio interview, and said, okay, there's somebody saying that it's your sister here. So George comes running down the corridor, and it's like an old commercial that they used to have where the two people were. So he spun me around, hugged me, and spun me around there. You should have heard that crowd's tune change. Making fun of me, and then they were cheering. So anyway, I went in and you know, spent the time with them. So that's part of the story, part one. That's the story of me and my brother coming to New York.
That's great. By the way, could you tell me a story every night? Once a week? All right. So could you be my aunt maybe? Like the cool aunt?
Yeah.
Okay. You hesitate.
Well, Auntie Lou, that's what George's boy, Daddy.
Okay.
Auntie Lou. I can be your Auntie Lou if you like.
Perfect. I'll be your Neffy Jeffy. So we don't